So, the last time you guys saw me editing Project Snow, I was only through the first 10 chapters. Now I'm up through chapter 28. At some point during all of this, I did hit a stride where it was going really fast, but then we hit the parts where there's a subplot I'm getting rid of, and I guess I just didn't realize how interwoven it was in certain parts of this book. And it is a pain in the butt getting rid of it. And part of the reason why it is such a pain in the butt is because of my dual narration. So every other chapter is narrated, it follows, it's not first person, but it follows one of my two characters. So I can't just cut a chapter because that interferes with timing, and so I'm using it as an opportunity to keep what I need from those chapters and adding in different things that I realize I need now. Ultimately, I've said it before, I will say it again, I hate editing. I hate doing this. I'm freaking miserable right now trying to make these changes because I'm into the larger stretch where a lot of changes need to be made. I hate doing this so much. And, some people, they really like editing because they get to tweak, they get to perfect and make it beautiful. I like just brain dumping a whole novel. I like outlining and writing so much. Editing to me feels like I said before, like I am trying to move things around and change how things look in a glass castle. I feel like all I'm doing is making messes and cleaning them up, even though it's really like life, right? So in order to clean a mess, you need to make it bigger first. So if something's wrong with your house or you need to organize something differently, you have to spread all of those things out from the closet and go through them and make this giant mess in your room before it could be put back together properly and things get donated or tossed or whatever you need to do. I get it. I just don't love this process. I love the writing process. I love coming up with ideas. I don't love this. And I don't think I ever really will. I like editing when I feel like there's not much to fix and I can just line edit and be happy. Kind of like what I did with this book back when this was the best version it could be when I was just graduating college. Not anymore. Also, I think I need to do that thing, and I know I did this a couple years ago. I keep coming back to this. I need to not be at my house to do this. I need to just use the MacBook and get out of the house because when I'm here, all I think about is all the stuff I need to clean. I still don't have floor in my basement. My basement is still not organized, which is a key in keeping the house organized because there's no storage. So everything is always a mess around me. 80% of the time, the cat will jump on the desk. Sunny doesn't for the most part, but Oreo, she does. And of course, today, on a day where I actually have time to edit, she's being really good up there and watching me fail. So, yeah. Alright, so I'm going to try to get through some more stuff today. I really have about a month to get through the rest of this book. If I want to be even kind of on track. Kind of. I'm technically behind. I wanted to get through 2 books. It's going to have to just be 1, and I'm not even on really the best track of finishing the 1. So I have 71 chapters. I'm currently working on chapter 29. That means I have 40 chapters to get through, right? Yeah. Granted, in the final stretch, when that one subplot I'm editing out, when that finally just chokes and dies and it's not even there anymore because it never was there, then it should be smooth sailing. Especially my action sequences are probably the types of things that I'm the proudest of. So I'm hoping and praying that goes by faster. I need to just believe and keep my eye on the prize that I am making this publishable. I am making this beautiful. I am turning this idea that I had into the best version of itself. And that hopefully I can publish this science fiction cycle. Alright, time to watch me struggle. Also, what is this crusty thing on my eye? It's like a dry skin thing. I've been trying to do my eye cream, but it doesn't seem to be doing anything. See how it's creating this extra fold? I don't know, whatever. Oh, look at Oreo. She moved. She's so cute. She be looking at those birdies. And just so you know how this is going, because I'm adding some things, I'm taking some things away. I was at 119,000 words, now down to like 116,000 words, so I'm only recently really been starting to chop. I just woke up again. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, was that just my eyelash? Okay, how embarrassing. Anyway, the cats woke me up originally at 4:30 because I moved in my sleep, and Sunny was like, "Oh my God, mother, you're awake!" He's like patting my face to get me up. How rude. So eventually he and Oreo were snuggling me, and then I felt like awake. So then I needed to get up and eat something and chill for a bit and talk to Mila before I went to work, and then I went back to sleep, and 2 hours later, here I am. And here she is. And Sunny is, I think, licking something. So I need to get dressed. I have a coffee shop gift card, and then I'm gonna get something because I need espresso. And then I'm gonna take a book back to the library. If you're curious, it's The Devil's by Joe Abercrombie. I gotta get that one back. I'm gonna talk about a little bit how I felt about that one in a different video that's probably already up. And yes, this little girl just likes to get into everything on the desk. Little baby. Here's where I'm at in revision. So going from 119,000 to 115, well, basically 116,000. I did check back in the day what my official word count was the first time I drafted it. Draft 1 was 117,000 words. So this is actually the smallest she's been since I finished it for the first time in 2017, which I know is a long time, but hey, I had a lot of life changes in there, so don't judge until you're me. Yesterday was actually kind of a big deal because I revised chapter 30, which is a huge chapter. Huge on a lot of levels. Like, the length is long, the importance is very large to the book. It's a very important chapter, and I need to get it just right. And it was probably the most stressful chapter to write in the book because I didn't know what I was doing on a lot of levels. So it wasn't bad. Definitely fixed some things. Tweaked a detail in an earlier chapter that's kind of important because the logic was not logicking. So I fixed that, and then what else did I do? So I think I need to make one more pass over it. I think that there's one other thing I need to edit for quickly. Basically it's another court proceeding. So I'm not good at those. Everyone just starts yapping. It's just like a circle of yappers. And there's not much structure to it. And I added a little bit more structure yesterday, but there's so many other things that I was trying to really clean up with the logic of like what's going on that didn't get as much attention. So I'm going to do that first today, and then hopefully I will keep moving forward. Well, actually, I also revised chapter 31 because that was a bit smaller, and so I'm going to go back to chapter 30, fix up that. Chapter 31's fine. We're good. Fix up chapter 30 one more time. And then I get to begin chapter 32 today, which is so exciting because this book is split into 3 parts. This is part 3. And so if you remember, if we go back to this page count, word count situation, then you will understand that this book is not split into perfect thirds. It's not like I didn't section it off by the amount of time. It's location. It's Part 1 is one setting, Part 2 is another setting, and Part 3 is our final setting where we wrap things up and where the characters have been heading this entire time. So, yeah. I'm just really excited because, yeah, cutting out that subplot has been really annoying. I've had some really frustrated moments because, like I said, I don't like revising. But the thing that has been keeping me going, and that I think is going to really keep me going, because now this is the part that I've looked at the most in the past in perfecting, because this is where most of the action unfolds and the drama and the subplots, different subplots than what we've had so far. I feel like I love this story so much, and this is the heart of my story. This is what it's really all about. We need all that stuff at the beginning because there's a lot of key world building. There's key conflicts that are going to be coming to a much bigger head in Part 3. You need those, and they're great, and I liked writing those too. But this is the heart of my story, and I'm so excited to look back at this part. And I'm thinking, I know it's not always going to be easy, but I'm thinking that revisions will be better now. And so if we think back, because, 2017 is when I first finished this draft. Sorry, back up. It was 2018, actually, when I finished this draft. That was 7 years ago. 7 years ago, I was 22. I just gotten out of college. Beginning of 2017 is when I started writing this book. And this is going to sound so bad and ungrateful, but one thing I was really excited about at that time is my university was going to have a NASA astronaut speak to the student body, and I was so excited. I think it was, what the frick is his name? I should know this. This is gonna bother me so much. I looked it up. Jim Lovell. That's who I got to witness speak at my university, and so he was one of the first few astronauts to fly to the moon. He was in orbit, didn't get to land on it, but he flew to it, orbited. I'm looking to double check my facts. His full list of space missions that I'm seeing is Apollo 13, Apollo 8, Gemini 7, Gemini 12. So, obviously really cool, really important. I was just, really excited to hear him speak, and I was paying attention probably the first 30 minutes of the hour-long talk, and my brain just started crafting this story, and it has nothing to do really with what he was talking about. Like, we are in space for part of the story, but and I think my initial premise for this idea came to be listening to him. So, which sucks because I kind of low-key didn't pay attention the last 30 minutes, and like I said, I should have because it is Jim Lovell, but I couldn't help what my brain was doing. My brain was coming up with the story. So I was beginning of 2017, I started writing it. I remember on Christmas break, I was talking to someone saying that originally I thought this book was going to be 80,000 words. But I could see that wasn't going to be possible, so hopefully over Christmas break I could finish it, and maybe I could hit 100,000, and maybe then it could be done. Over Christmas break I hit 100,000, it was not done. And so then I did student teaching, and I didn't really have time to write in 2018. So then that summer I wrote the last 20,000-ish words and wrapped it up. So it's been a long time coming for Project Snow. And it's been through some edit sessions, but that's when I feel like the last big round of edits I did, I was 23. And now I'm 29. And there's things that I know now that I didn't know then. And I will always say that out of everything I've ever written, I would even say out of the book I most recently wrote, I would say this is my strongest first draft. There was a lot of moving parts, a lot of things to keep track of. I remember at one point I was writing, I don't even know who this character is anymore. I think it's this person. And I wrote the scene with them, and I'm like, I'll fix it later. And then I didn't have to fix anything later for that. I look back, I'm like, oh yeah, I knew what I was doing. I think I was just hyping myself up that this story was too big for me, and it wasn't. So, also, I just realized that Toad and Shy Guy behind me look like they might be in a strange position, so I'm gonna fix that. Now they're somewhere else. Yay, being friends. Hey, Sunny. Oh no, both cats want to hang out with me now. But yeah, I feel like after all this time, I really am still really proud of this book, so let's keep going. Holding the line at about 14, or oh my god, I can't do numbers, 114,000 words. So I'm in my final stretch. There was one problem in the logic of my story that I've been trying to fix ever since I wrote it, but it didn't quite work. I fixed it now. Okay, we're good. There was one character, I was giving him just too much power. I had to take some of that back, because otherwise the rest of the story just, like, feels like it shouldn't be a story. Like, I don't know how else to make that make sense. This is one of those things where if you probably just went off of vibes instead of plotting, you don't run into those issues. But I like my plot a lot, so it's staying the way that it is. I'm into the final conflict. This is do or die. My main characters are facing their kind of last stand in what's going on with Project Snow, so I'm really excited to read through this final action sequence because I love my action sequences more than anything that I write. So yeah. A little update. I am in the last 10 chapters, so yeah. I do think I'm gonna have to pause for a bit. I did 50 pages of edits, so I'm in the final stretch. I had such a rough start for today. Last night and yesterday, most of yesterday, I was hardcore suffering from some migraine issues. I think it's because the weather here has been freaking insane. The heat index has been so high. The humidity, like, I go outside with my glasses on and, like, it gets all fogged up and I can't see, so I have to take them off. Like, it's been a whole thing, right? And we've had just these off and on bouts of, like, really heavy rainfall, barometric pressures all over the place. So I'm dealing with migraines. My Nurtec didn't work yesterday, which was odd. That's never happened before, so I had to take a triptan medication instead, which is great for migraines, but those knock you out, so I took that when I went to sleep. Woke up in the middle of the night, felt great, went back to sleep because it wasn't a full night's sleep, and then I woke up again, and I could just feel that it was going to come back, so I had to take another one of those pills, and then take a nap. And it just really disorients me when I take those. So the whole day's been off to a weird start. I've been productive with writing, but I really need to do some laundry. And I need to figure out what we're doing for dinner. So this might not make sense to people in general, but where we're at in the dish schedule, the dishes and doing dishes schedule, between that, how hot it is, I don't want to cook. I cooked last night and it was like, even with, oh god, temperature's already rising in here, but even with my air conditioning being set at like 72 degrees, it was close to 80 degrees in the house, and I just am not about that life. And I know that that's a very privileged thing to say because not everyone has central air, but you got to remember, your girl has PCOS. I get hot flashes. Also, one of the medicines I take to manage my PCOS, it makes me heat sensitive, so I don't do well with feeling hot at all. I need to figure out what the frick we're gonna eat. So, I'm gonna take a break to do those things. Also, since it hasn't been, like, bad in my house yet today, I did, because the fan is, like, right above me. And it's, like, annoying to have that in my face when I'm editing even with my glasses on, so I turned it off, and I have to, like, tiptoe because I'm really short. I feel like you can't tell how short people are when they just make YouTube videos. I'm quite short. And my Achilles tendon feels funny. I did not do my toe raise properly, which is shameful as someone that's been doing them forever. My calves look amazing because all I do is tiptoe. All done. So actually, as much as I was like kind of crapping on myself for being behind, once I actually started, which I did start later in the summer than I wanted to with revisions, I'm really only like a week or two off where I wanted to be, which not great, but not horrid. Like I still have time that I could even do more revising of other projects before the end of the summer. So I know my original plan was I was going to go back and do an additional revision. I don't even think I really need to be honest. I really worked at this, and some of those little things I thought I was going to go back and look at later, I was fixing them as I went. Like that's just how I work. And that's just how I work, right? Because I said that I was going to do like 2 chapters a day, be done in 35 days, right? That was the plan. That's not how I work. I go for a couple days where I do nothing, and then I do a surge of 10 chapters. Like, that's my concentration. I'm either totally not doing the thing, or I'm totally doing the thing. There is no in between. With the resolution, I was thinking about making an edit where the ending is a little bit more ambiguous, but I feel like we go through so much with these characters that I just need the ending to be bluntly happy. So that's what it is. One thing that shocked me is because I was getting rid of that one subplot, which wasn't as strong as I thought it was. So that came in handy. I thought that I was going to have to cut chapters out and condense some things. But I started this book with 71 chapters. I ended it with 71 chapters. I started with 119,000 words. I'm ending with 114,267 words. And obviously I cut out like 5,000 words, but then also I was adding some things into, but I cut more than I added. Like I mentioned before, I just really love this story, and I wrote it because it's something that I wanted to read, and I just really hope I can get it to a place one day where other people will see it. I'm really hoping to do traditionally published. And it's not that I look down upon self-publishing, it's just that so many other people do, right? Christiane Jones was talking about this in her latest video because she self-published before, and now she's publishing a fantasy book with a publisher. She got a literary agent and all that. And the thing is, like, there's pros and cons to indie publishing and trad publishing. I don't know. Part of me really wishes I could get this traditionally published, but since I do have this book set up as one of a cycle, I don't know if anyone's going to want it. And I do think eventually I am probably going to have to bite the bullet and just do it myself and do it my way. I have another book in the cycle done. I want to do another revision session. It's the one, I think I mentioned this before, either in this video or another one, but it's awkwardly shorter than this one. This one's like 114,000 words. That other one is like 61,000 in that installment. So it just feels a little odd to me, and every time I read through it, it feels done. It feels perfect the way that it is. So maybe she's just destined to be a little bit short, but I don't know. I feel like I got to use my brain a little bit. I feel like there's got to be something that I can expand that people would really want to see. The only thing that I'm left with at the end of this revision of Project Snow that's in the back of my head is my beta reader friend who knows that I write poetry. He wanted to see more of those dazzling moments in writing to make it stand out a bit more. And I do feel like I could probably go back into certain spots and make sure that I'm doing that, because I feel like it's not as natural in this book compared to my other books, like, you know, usage of figurative language and things like that. I'm really like, there's a lot going on, so I am showing you what's going on without a ton of additional fluff. I don't know. I think I might go back, especially to those more emotional moments, and make sure that those are as sparkly as they could be. That the language is as beautiful as it could be. Also, one time-consuming but simpler thing I would also like to do is take a look and see if I have any crutch words I need to reduce. I know that one for sure is nod. All my characters, they just be like, or when they're serious, they just be nodding. Like, my characters are freaking bobbleheads, so I gotta fix that part. But yeah, Oreo is playing with my glasses. Great. Okay. Within the climax of this book, I did have a difficult revision in like the logic a little bit, so I'm proud of myself for sticking through that. And I did that in a single shot. We're talking like among 50 pages, a flaw in logic, and I just knocked that out. It is what it is. I wish I could be the little, 2 chapter a day girly, just moderated, reaching my goals one day at a time. But instead, I am chaos. I'm doing nothing or I'm doing everything. That's just the way that I am. Because, baby, I was born this way. Alright, so thank you for watching. I hope that if you're also writing something that you have found your productivity spurts, whether you are a 2 chapter day person, whether you're a chaos person like me, whatever. I think it's all totally valid in the end. But yeah, I did it. I revised my book, my biggest book. And yeah, I'll give you some cat footage, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
Pretty little baby. Yeah? You talking? Yeah? So Oreo was picked up off the street, basically, and you see how her eye's leaking? I gotta wipe it in a second. It's because being neglected and just abandoned outside as, a young cat, she had issues with upper respiratory infections, the vet thinks, and as a result she has damaged corneas, and so her eyes leak, so I gotta fix that.
Not that there's a cure. There's not. I mean, fix it, like, I gotta wipe it away. Let's see what Sunny's doing.
He is a sleepy boy. Handsome boy.